Going into my sophomore season, I put in a lot of work, mainly focusing on my speed and agility so I can make more plays with my legs. After such a successful year my freshman season, expectations are extremely high for New Mexico. In games like this against an inferior opponent, we have to dominate so we can set the tone for the season. And I'm not gonna lie, losing my #1 receiver Jace Taylor worried me a little bit, but we have plenty of playmakers on this team. We stand midfield celebrating our first win of the season, our first shutout of the season at that. 19 for 35, over 300 yards passed, and 3 total touchdowns. We starting this season off just right. It's always a pleasure to come here and play Coastal Carolina on this beautiful teal turf field. Coming out of high school, I was a pure pocket passer, but I think I'm starting to develop into a true dynamic dual threat quarterback. We find ourselves right back into the red zone, and my tight end manhandles his way into the end zone to further our lead. We're down 1 score here in the back end of the third quarter. I find Jordan Porter for a huge, much needed 56-yard touchdown. It's a tie game here in the fourth quarter, but not for long. I take off to my right and I dive into the end zone to take a commanding lead. Tie game at 35, under 20 seconds left here in the fourth quarter. We run the read option to absolute perfection. I dive into the end zone to get the win over Coastal. This game was nothing short of an offensive showdown, but a big statement game for me and my guys. And of course I received player of the game, over 500 total yards and 5 touchdowns on the day. With Jace Taylor being gone, Elijah Queen is supposed to be my #1 receiver, but as time go on, we'll see how that works out. Because so far throughout these first couple of games, Jordan Porter has been nothing short of spectacular. We're a pass-heavy offense, so my running back Chris Washington doesn't get much love, but he scores a touchdown right here, picking up his first of the season. And I cannot forget about my boy Andrew Erickson, who's in my opinion the #1 route runner on this team. On paper, Elijah Queen is supposed to be my #1 receiver, but Jordan Porter has just been stepping up, going crazy. But here on 1st and 10, I find another one of my go-to guys wide open in the back of the end zone for another touchdown. We barely edge out UTSA here on the road, but we improve our record to 4-0. My tight end Will Dennis has taken a huge leap this year. He's actually starting to make plays. And here on 1st and goal, I refuse to be denied on this read option play. I leap towards the end zone, picking up the touchdown, making it a tie game. Do you remember the throw that made Zach Wilson go to a top overall pick in the draft? I made that exact throw to Bobby Wooten in game. I'm gonna be honest, I stared Andrew down this entire play and I watched him destroy this safety with this filthy route. 3 minutes left here in the third, and for once I actually roll out to my dominant hand side, but I'm not using my arm this time. I'm using my legs to dive into the end zone. My offensive line has taken a huge leap this year, doing a lot better up front, so I can let plays fully develop and hit the right guy. And to cap off the day, I hit my boy Andrew for his 3rd touchdown of the day. He might be emerging into that #1 receiver spot. Me and the guys celebrate our win over San Diego State midfield. We balled out. I've been nothing short of dominant these first few games of the season, but I want to win that Heisman, and that's going to take these kind of performances throughout the entire year to get that. We got UNLV this week, and if I'm being honest, they have one of the cleanest indoor fields I've ever seen. And picking up his 4th touchdown in 2 games, my boy Mr. Andrew Erickson, aka my #1 receiver. And Andrew just continues to make plays. He's emerging to not only be the best receiver on this team, but in the country. Guy who was supposed to be my #1, Mr. Elijah Queen, he's noticing the favoritism I'm showing towards Andrew, so he decided to step up and make a play. I'm a left-handed quarterback, but I always roll out to my right for some reason, and it just completely construbulates the defense every single time. 21-0 in the first half in their crib. Yeah, I didn't think it was gonna get this ugly this fast. Yes sir, we secure the blowout, another dub on the road. We got to keep this momentum going. This makes 3 consecutive games with at least 5 touchdowns. If I continue to ball at this level, I'm most definitely gonna break the touchdown record. We got Colorado State this week, and there's no better way to start this game than Andrew picking up 30 yards. If he didn't get tripped up, he would have took this back for a touchdown. I don't know if I'm tripping or not, but Andrew turned on the burners on this play. He outran his DB, picking up our first touchdown of the game. We're a pass-heavy offense. We only run the read option in the red zone, but that's exactly why I caught CSU by surprise. I take off picking up 50 on this play. Only a 3-point game here late in the third quarter, but that was soon changed with my boy Will Dennis taking off upfield, picking up a 40-yard touchdown. For the first time in a while, I actually take off to my left. I set up this block, I dip my head, and I dive into the end zone for a touchdown. We get the win over CSU. We remain undefeated, and I walk out of here player of the game. We hand Colorado State their first conference L of the season, but I have no doubt that they're going to finish their season strong. We got Boise State at home this week, and taking a look at their record, they fell off completely from what they were last season. We were ranked number 20 last week, and this week we're ranked number 15 on our journey to becoming at least a top 5 team in the nation. We're down 7 here in the second quarter. I see Chris upfield. I throw my riskiest pass of the season. He makes the catch, picking up the huge play. Over the summer, I've been telling my tight end Will he could be one of the best tight ends in the country, and over these last couple of games, he's been playing like it. But the biggest play of the day comes from Elijah Queen. He explodes all over Boise State's defense, taking off for a 50+ yard touchdown. Call me Zach Wilson 2.0, rolling out to my least dominant side, throwing back across my body all the way upfield in stride for a perfectly placed touchdown ball. The coaches had a joke in practice this week. They said I just chucked the ball upfield, saying Andrew out there somewhere. They ain't lying though. And to cap off this game here in the fourth quarter, I connect with my boy Bobby for his first touchdown of the game, and we put this one away. 22 for 32, 485 passing yards, another 5 touchdown performance. I'm a dog. We're 8-0 and now ranked the 10th team in the nation. We have to remain undefeated this week against Air Force. 1st and 10, I float this one over the top to my boy Will Dennis, but somehow he doesn't get into the end zone on this play. And with him falling short of the goal line, I take this one in myself, diving in. Even though I had an easy walk in, I just had to be dramatic. Down here in the red zone, we always find success with the read option. We run it to perfection every time. We're almost 9 games into this season, and Bobby Wooten continues to try to make his case to be the wide receiver 1. And it seems like my receivers are in competition with each other. Every time one makes a play, the other steps up and makes an even better play. And when it comes to making the play, Andrew Erickson always delivers with his big play ability. A very light day by my standard, 388 total yards and 4 touchdowns, and my completion percentage was amazing. We got a snowy one here in Utah against Utah State, a team we went into a triple overtime thriller with last year. As of lately, coach has been splitting Will Dennis out wide like a receiver, and it's been working out in our favor. He picks up his first touchdown of the game. But of course, I find my boy Andrew wide open in the end zone, who is the best wide receiver in the country in my opinion. We're in an ugly 3rd and 20 situation, and surprisingly, I find Elijah Queen for the big play. Now, usually I would sit tall in the pocket and throw the ball on a set platform, but these off-platform throws are becoming second nature for me. And just like that, only 2 seasons here in New Mexico, and I break the school record for most passing touchdowns in a career. A very tight game here in the fourth quarter, under 20 seconds left. I find my number 1 target here in the end zone to seal the game. After the win over Utah State, we are now the only team in the country that remains undefeated. We skyrocket to become the number 1 team in the country. Probably our best opponent we've faced so far this season, 9-1 Fresno State. We got to come to play today. Just about every single one of my receivers were wide open on this play, and I still decided to throw in traffic to my number 1 receiver, Andrew. But the risky throw was worth it because my boy's name is officially in the history books with the most receiving touchdowns in a season in school history. 1st and 10, they sent everybody after me. I take off to my left, I go upfield, I set some blocks up, and I take this one back to the crib for a huge 85-yard touchdown. I've been raving about Andrew over the past 10 games, but I'm going to continue to give him his props. He's always open, and his route running is just crazy. He's just the best out here. And we cap off this big play drive with a swift 1-yard touchdown to my boy Will Dennis. We got a tie game here in the second quarter right before the half. I launched this ball upfield, and my boy Will gets clapped by this safety. Noticeably, this game I've been favoring my left side, but it's been working out in our favor. I pick up another touchdown right before the half. We haven't heard much from my boy Jordan Porter over the last couple of games, but he steps up, makes a huge play, picking up a bunch of yards on this one. The entire fourth quarter of that game was a defensive battle. We got the win 28-21 over Fresno State. We got 2-9 Wyoming this week, and somehow we're down 2 scores to kick off this game. But I refuse to go scoreless within the first half. I found my boy Elijah Queen in the back of the end zone for a toe-tapping touchdown. Third quarter action, we're down 2 scores again, and if we don't tighten up, this could ruin our perfect season. We got no time to dink and dunk our way up the field. We got to execute big plays so we can get into the end zone. No surprise here, we run the read option to perfection, and we're down 1 score here late in the third quarter. With the chance to tie this game here in the fourth quarter, you know I'm gonna find my route technician to pick up a touchdown to even this one out. Defense went and got a stop on the first possession of overtime, and all we have to do is score. The read option never fails. Coaches meet midfield to congratulate each other on a great game, and I walk out of here player of the game in this nail biter against Wyoming. Mountain West Conference Championship against 10-2 Hawaii. We got to keep the streak alive, and we want to touch that national championship this season. Here on 3rd and 8, all of my receivers are covered, but that right side of the field is wide open. I take off running upfield, picking up 29 on the play. 3rd and 8 down here in the red zone. I thought about taking off, but I found my boy Andrew in the end zone. I put this one into a very tight window for the touchdown. Andrew Erickson is like the gift that keeps on giving. A 51-yard bomb for a touchdown. He is insane. And he breaks another school record with the most receiving yards in a single season, bro. He's having a historical year. And if it ain't broke, don't fix it. That read option is never going to fail us in the red zone. The blocking up front is always sensational. Even though he hasn't had the season we all expected him to have, Elijah Quinn has been stepping up in a lot of big moments, making huge plays this season. We are kings of the Mountain West. I fall to my knees and thank God for the success we've had this year. Me and the guys are celebrating, going crazy on the field, knowing we're the best team in New Mexico school history. Watching those tears fall from my coach's face as he received the Mountain West Conference Championship trophy, it's a beautiful sight. I got snubbed last season, but this season they cannot deny me. I'm officially a Heisman Trophy winner my sophomore season here at the University of New Mexico. Taking a look at my numbers for my sophomore season, I improved in every area that I needed to, and it's obvious with these stats, I'm the best player in college football. National Championship week, and we got Alabama. On paper, they're a much better team than us, but of course we're looking for the upset. This is without a doubt the best defense I've faced my entire college career so far, a true test, and there's no better way to set the tone early than striking first and picking up the first touchdown of the game. Anytime you face a Bama defensive front, you have to play very cautious, but my offensive line so far has been holding up pretty well. And crazy enough, with this 13-yard pass to Andrew, I break my own record I set last year with the most passing yards in a single season. But right now, personal achievements are the least of my concern. My boy Jordan Porter picks up his first touchdown here, making this a tie game. But every time we score, they score, and if we let up even in the slightest, this game could take a turn for the worse easily. Fourth quarter action, this game has gotten completely out of hand, but I refuse to go out like this. And with that touchdown, I break every single quarterback record in school history with the most passing yards in a career. I did it in just 2 seasons. But even with a historically great game from myself and my teammates, we still fall short to Alabama and we lose the national championship. Watching the Crimson Tide celebrate another national championship left a bitter taste in my mouth. I'll be back for my junior season on a mission.